Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you fresh from Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of Saturday's game against West Ham. As you can understand, Mikel Arteta was a very, very happy man while speaking to us earlier today, because a lot of the questions were about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and obviously Aubameyang put an end to all the speculation this week when he finally signed his new contract. Well, to be fair, had been signed a farewell before that and agreed a farewell before that, but the announcement finally came this week, ending all the speculation and the uncertainty, and Arteta filled in a lot of questions about Auba. I won't go through the answers now because I'm sure you've probably seen them already, and to be honest, you'll want to probably hear a little bit more about what he had to say in terms about possible incomings and outgoings at Arsenal and team news ahead of the big game against West Ham tomorrow. But I'll just run you through what he said. He confirmed that there were certainly offers on the table from elsewhere for Aubameyang. Didn't exactly say who, but certainly understood that Barca very interested in Aubameyang this summer. He was asked about that and about the offers from other big European clubs, and Mikel Arteta said, yes, but the size of our club is as big as those names. That is what I am saying. The most important thing is the club, what we inspire, who we are as a club, and what we can achieve in the future as well, and how we can explain what we are trying to do so the players believe in our project. Some very big words there from Mikel Arteta. Understandably, like I said earlier, very, very happy about Aubameyang. If you haven't seen them yet, please do head over to goal.com, where we're having stories and reaction from Mikel Arteta's press conference, and you'll be able to see the comments about Aubameyang and about his decision to stay and what that means for Arsenal, what it means for Aubameyang and for Arteta as well. So please do head over to goal.com and you'll find all of your Arsenal news and all of the reaction from today's press conference. Now, what did he have to say about transfers? I'm sure you want to know about that. And he had to say, well, he certainly confirmed that a new goalkeeper is on his way and that will be happening soon. I'll get the big quote, the proper quote for you now, but that goalkeeper is Runar Alex Runarsson, fantastic name, Icelandic keeper coming over from Dijon for about between 1.5 2 million pounds. It's going to cost, so not too much money for Arsenal. He's very well known to Arsenal's goalkeeping coach Naki Kana, worked with him before, and that deal is very, very close, as I said on my Q&A, which you'll find below in one of these videos if you haven't seen it yet. You'll find it that he had his medicals yesterday over in France. That deal is now very, very close to being done. Mikel basically confirming that as well, although he didn't name Runarsson, as he doesn't talk about individual players, but he did say, obviously with the departure of Emi, which is a big loss, we have to replace him. We are looking in the market, and I think we will shortly be in a position to announce a new signing. When he was asked whether that would be hours or days, he sort of hedged his bets a little bit, said, I don't know, in football hours can become days, and then something that looks unlikely can happen straight away. But that is a deal that is now very, very close to happening for Arsenal, and Runarsson will be coming in. Arteta was asked, was that going to be it for the goalkeepers, or was there a chance of bringing someone else in? Because we know Arsenal very interested in David Raya, the Brentford goalkeeper, who's also very interested in a move to Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta was asked, are you going to bring in anyone else in? He says, depending on what's going to happen with our third goalkeeping position as well, because we had some talks about that over the past month, so the market is still open and things can change. Now, the issue there is obviously Matt Macey's still here. He wants to play regular first-team football. He's admitted it himself in an interview he did with Sam Dean over at the Daily Telegraph. And so he wants to go out. So if Matt Macey goes in, Arsenal are going to need to get someone else in as well. As I said yesterday, Runarsson very, very close, but I would certainly keep an eye on what happens between now and the end of the transfer window in terms of David Raya at Brentford, because he's certainly keen on a move to Arsenal. And Arsenal are very interested in him, another goalkeeper who's worked with Naki Kana, the goalkeeping coach, who obviously came over from Brentford. And now I asked Mikel about Emi Martinez. There was quite a few questions about Emi, and I asked Mikel, I said to him that this obviously no manager wants to make a squad weaker, but the decision to sell Emi, certainly for now anyway, makes Arsenal's squad weaker. There's no denying that. But is it a necessary evil? Because it will help you bring in your top targets like your Aouar, your Partey. Now, obviously, he didn't say to me, he didn't talk about the names because he never does, but he did admit that it was a sacrifice. The sale of Martinez was a sacrifice that would help Arsenal in terms of that. Obviously, Martinez was very, very keen on going. He'd been given assurances by Villa, and the move was not purely because of Arsenal, but was because also he wanted to go and play first-team football. And so, here's his answer to me when I asked him about whether selling Emi was a necessary evil to help bring in others. He says, at the end of the day, we have to find some balance between what we want to achieve with our squad and our finances. And it gets to the point where if you want to achieve certain things, you need to sacrifice others. So basically admitting, yes, selling Emmy was a necessary evil, could be a necessary evil to help bring in the other top targets like your Partey, like your Arwell, because Arsenal need to raise their finances and need to bring some money in, and 20 million from Arteta is going to do that. So quite interesting from Mikel there, I thought, on that one. He also spoke about Siad. Kolasinac said that nothing was close yet with Siad, but Siad certainly has. There are talks ongoing about possible move back to Germany. Leverkusen are interested in Siad, but Mikel Arteta saying at the moment nothing really close in that regard. Other big team news to come from the press conference. We've seen that David Luiz was back in full training. Mikel Arteta confirming that Luiz was fit to play, so he could be involved tomorrow. Whether he starts or not, I'm not so sure. I will go through what I would presume would be my predicted 11. I don't think we're going to see Saliba again yet. Obviously, Arsenal got the game against Leicester to come on Wednesday night, so in the Carabao Cup. So Mikel Arteta will have that in mind when he names his teams for face West Ham. I think obviously we're going to have Bernd Leno in goal. David Luiz coming in does give Arteta the option of changing things in defence, but I just think with Luiz, given how short of game time he is, short of match fitness, the Community Shield he came in, he only had one training session before that game, so he's not had much training at all because of this injury as well. So I still think Luiz probably more likely to start on the bench, and Mikel might well stick with the same back three that played against Fulham last weekend. So Rob Holding, Gabriel and Kieran Tierney playing on the left side of the three, and then you got your pick between Saka and Ainsley Maitland-Niles on the left wing back. I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles probably keeps his place, and Hector Bellerin certainly will keep his place over on the right hand side. I think maybe the one change we're going to see from the team that played Fulham will be in midfield. I thought Dani Ceballos was very good when he came on. Look, El Neni played very, very well against against Fulham, but I do think Arsenal are at home. Do you really need to play in three at the back and then a midfield of Xhaka and El Neni? I'm not so sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Xhaka and Ceballos central midfield, and then the same front three that we saw last weekend at Craven Cottage that played so well. Willian on the right, Aubameyang up top. Aubameyang on the left and Lacazette up top. So that's my predicted 11 for the game tomorrow. I asked Mikel about Reece Nelson actually, because obviously you're going to have, like I said, I reckon it'll be Willian on the right, Pepe will be on the bench again. Where does this all leave Reece Nelson? Is he going to possibly go out on loan? He didn't really answer it. He fudged it a little bit, I thought, in terms of whether it'll be out on loan. He says he's had conversations with Reece. So he said, I think they all realise competition we have in the forward positions. I've already spoken to Reece about it, and I really like the way he's training. I think we both agree about how much he's improved in the last few months, and he's going to carry on pushing himself and the rest of the team. He needs to be ready, because in football, unfortunately, or fortunately, things don't take months to change. It can take 3 minutes, and you have to be ready when the opportunity comes. Understandable. I understand what you're saying there about Reece, but I think when you've got two players like Willian and Pepe in front of you, and you've also got an option of Saka who can play on that side, we've seen recently as well. I just think Reece is at an age where he needs to be playing now. And I wonder whether it'll be best if Reece goes out on loan, and I still think that might be something we might see between now and the end of the transfer window. One more thing I asked him about, which I thought he gave quite a good response to actually, was the fight between Eddie and Dani Ceballos before the game when they were warming up last weekend. I asked him about it. Obviously, last weekend after the game when we asked him, he told us that he hadn't seen it. I said to him, "Look, I'm sure you've seen it now. You've had time." And he gave quite a good response, I thought, on it. Saying, let's find it. Let's get the right. He said, I was surprised first of all because it isn't a common thing to see at the start. To be fair, I didn't like too much that image in public, but then I understood what happened, and I understood how both wanted to play and the level of frustration they were managing. I like the way things were revolved first between them personally and then publicly with the picture. And I said, so was it purely down to, because it looked like Danny was the instigator, and I said, was Danny just really, really frustrated that he didn't start? Because I think we all expected him to start, didn't he? And he said, you can see the way Danny and Eddie came on the pitch in the last few minutes and how committed they were and how much they wanted to play. I can't demand the players all the time to be 100% and pushing, but then be soft and have a really bad body language during the rondos. If you give me the choice, I don't want them to kill each other, but it's okay. It's not bad. which I thought was quite a good response from Mikel about that. And it's obviously all swept under the carpet now. Everyone's kissed and made up. We saw that with the picture that they posted on Instagram afterwards. But I thought it was a good response from Mikel after pretty much fudging it last week when we asked him after the game. So there's your press conference roundup, your team news, and your predicted 11. I'll just run through that predicted 11 again in case you missed it. Bernardo in goal, Holding, Gabriel, Tierney, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Hector Bellerin, Dani Ceballos, Granit Xhaka, Willian, Lacazette and Aubameyang. Big team news. David Luiz is back. He is available, but I wouldn't be surprised if Luiz is on the bench. In terms of the other two, Smith Rowe, 2 weeks away now with his shoulder injury from returning to full training. Socrates hoping to return to full training from his calf injury next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. And please do look through the rest of the channels. My Q&As, my first part of my Q&A is up there. The second part will be up tomorrow morning. So please do like, watch and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. I will speak to you soon.